Grant was told he could select who he wanted to lead the Army of the Potomac. Edwin Stanton, the Secretary of War, told him, "You will find a very weak, irresolute man there, and my advice to you is to replace him at once." Oh. Damn. They did not like Meade, huh?
Well, Meade, he offered to resign. He even offered to serve wherever placed. Grant assured Meade he had no intentions of replacing him. Grant knew that Meade disapproved of Lincoln's strategy and was unpopular with politicians and the press. He also was not willing to allow him free command of the Army of Potomac either, without direct supervision, which Grant did supervise him the rest of the war.
He sure did. So are you even the commander of the Potomac at this point?
Right.
The Union Army moved ponderously slow toward their new positions, and Meade lashed out at Major General Philip Sheridan and his cavalry corps, blaming them for not clearing the road and not informing Meade of the enemy's movements. Sheridan then told Meade that he could whip Stuart if Meade let him.
Ooh.
That's old Jeb he's talking about.
I don't think so.
He did.
Meade reported the conversation to Grant, thinking he would reprimand the insubordinate Sheridan. But Grant replied, well, he generally knows what he's talking about. Let him start right out and do it. Damn. Meade deferred to Grant's judgment and issued orders to Sheridan to proceed against the enemy's cavalry. Sheridan's cavalry had great success. They broke up the old Confederate supply lines, liberated hundreds of Union's prisoners, mortally wounded Confederate General J.E.B. Stuart.
Oh, Jeb.
And they threatened the city of Richmond.
However, his departure left the Union Army blind to enemy movement, so let's find somebody else to do it. Grant made his headquarters with Meade for the remainder of the war, which caused Meade to chafe at the close supervision he received. Now, following an incident in June of 1864, in which Meade disciplined reporter Edward Cropsey for an unfavorable article. All of the press assigned to his army agreed to mention Meade only in conjunction with setbacks.
Meade apparently knew nothing of this arrangement, and the reporters giving all the credit to Grant angered him. Additional differences caused further friction between Grant and Meade. Waging a war of attrition in the overland campaign against Lee, Grant was willing to suffer previously unacceptable losses, with the knowledge that the Union Army had replacement soldiers available. Whereas the old Confederates, they're running dry. Meade was opposed to Grant's recommendations to directly attack fortified Confederate positions, which resulted in huge losses of Union soldiers.
The butcher.
Grant became frustrated with Meade's cautious approach, and despite his initial promise to allow Meade latitude in his command, Grant, you know what? I'm going to start overriding you, Meade, and I'm going to order the tactical deployment of the Army of the Potomac myself.
And Meade became frustrated with his lack of autonomy, and his performance as a military leader suffered.
It did.
During the Battle of Cold Harbor, Meade inadequately coordinated the disastrous frontal assault. However, Meade took some satisfaction that Grant's overconfidence at the start of the campaign against Lee had been reduced after the brutal confrontation of the overland campaign, and stated, "I think Grant has had his eyes opened and is willing to admit now that Virginia and Lee's army is not Tennessee and Bragg's army."